Well, I told y'all it was going to be a vividly vulnerable summer, and here I am, ready for installment number one of all the vulnerability I'm currently dealing with. Okay, so this one is a little bit of a story time, but I I promise it will not disappoint. Hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Lori, and I am learning to cope more effectively with my mental health and all of life's challenges. And I'm documenting it so that you can learn how to cope more effectively from me. I also wrote this book on coping, which you should definitely check out. And this vulnerable moment is related to the book. So when I was writing the book and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard to write a book. It's so hard. And then everyone starts telling you that actually writing the book's not hard. It's selling the book. You know, when you're writing it, you're like, no, that's not true. That's totally not true. Now that I've been selling it for a year, I can tell you absolutely that is true. I wish I could write 1,000,000 books every day and not have to sell a single one. I'm sure there are authors out there that this is very easy for. It's not for me. It's real hard. So, like any business venture, writing this book was an investment, and there was a plan for a return on that investment. And let's just say that I'm still waiting on that. It's going to come. I feel good about that, but it's not here yet. And in the meantime, my husband and I find us in a really challenging living situation. We're in a multi-generational house with 7 people. We're supporting 3 disabled adults and our 2 kids, young kids. It's just not working. It hasn't been working for a while. And we weren't able to make the jump to a new house for a couple different reasons, but one of them being that I have not yet gotten a return on this investment. And it sucks. It sucks to think about things that are your art and your gift as being things that get in the way of you financially being where you need to be so that you can get appropriate shelter. Literally one of my biggest fears in life, and I can tell you all the trauma behind this fear, but it happened yesterday with a mortgage broker who basically informed me that over the last couple of years, while I've been growing and scaling my business and writing this book and living my dreams, that I could have been making much more money if I had done nothing. And I guess you probably can make an assumption about where that leaves us with needing a new house. And I'm really humbled and vulnerable in this moment, and I can only know that it will pass. It will pass because feelings always pass. And honestly, when it comes to vulnerability and a situation like this, oftentimes we feel a lot of shame. And I felt a lot of shame last night. I still feel shame right now. But the antidote to shame is sunlight. And so I'm telling you guys, this happened. This is my life. I am not as successful yet as I want to be, and it has implications on my home life and the well-being of myself and everyone else in my family. And that's really hard. And so I'm talking to you about it. I'm going to go outside here in a minute, sit in my yard, practice being grateful, and I'm going to continue doing it. And one day I'll break through and I'll be able to move into a house that's going to support us better, and I'm going to have done it knowing that I worked hard and I deserve it. And so that is the first installment of the Vividly Vulnerable Summer. I wasn't really expecting it to involve a mortgage broker, but honestly, the positive is, like I said, this is a big fear of mine. It really makes me incredibly anxious. And I was doing everything I could possibly do to avoid this outcome of this conversation. And it still happened. And maybe it needed to happen. Maybe I needed to know that I can sit through getting shamed by somebody who doesn't know me and doesn't know my business and doesn't know all the great work I'm doing. And I get that I need money to buy a house. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid here. I understand that this guy was just doing his job. It was really hard. It was a really hard thing. It made me feel really vulnerable. And since I already posted about Vividly Vulnerable Summer, I was like, well, this one's gonna make it into the rotation. Thank you for listening. And I hope whatever you're dealing with that's making you vulnerable, I hope you know you're not alone. And I'm cheering you on from afar. I'm cheering all of us vividly vulnerable summer people on because hell yeah. Hell yeah.